This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. We are here to move your life forward, help you achieve those things that you've been trying to get done for a long time or you feel that you deserve. So I ask a couple of questions. You may be a homeowner, right? What's that home worth? Think about that for a second. Got a car in the driveway, maybe two. What's it worth? What are they worth? Think about those other things in your life. You put value on them. What are they worth? If you were to sell them right now, what would they be worth? Put that aside for a second, and I ask, what are you worth? What are you worth to others? Do you own that? Do you short sell yourself? Let's talk about that today. She is an amazing transformational life coach, and she got a lot of worth in my world. I learned so much from her, and she's our professional of the year. Donna Day is back. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm fantastic and loving what we're going to talk about that you brought to the table today, because I firmly believe, been there, done that, I think it even happens on a daily basis. We minimize what we are really worth to others, and even in, let's say, the business world. I think
Yeah.
many of us are shortchanging ourselves, right?
We always do. Many people walk through life believing their worth is based on just their performance or their appearance or just, doing well and getting that, applause or the approval from others. It's almost like wearing a name tag that reads, "Hello, my name is as good as my last achievement." But the
Mhm.
truth is, knowing who you are changes everything. When you truly understand your value, you stop negotiating your worth with people who can't appreciate or afford your presence. You really begin to see your own energy as a luxury. Luxury can be considered a whole different things. Usually it has to do with like a really expensive car or lots of diamonds and things like that. But your energy is worth just as much, if not more. And so is your attention, and the love that you provide to others. All these things can be considered really rare currencies. And the shift in this perspective is extremely powerful. It shapes how you interact with others, how you set boundaries, and also how you prioritize your time and your emotions.
Ooh, okay. Let's do a visualization now. You have a bank account or you have a suitcase full of not money at this moment, but your energy.
Yeah.
Got it right here. This is your energy. This is my energy. I have a certain amount of it in this portal, be it a bank account, energy bank account, or a suitcase full of energy. If it was money, you'd be really careful about who you gave that to.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go to the corner of Fifth and Main right over there and open up the suitcase and the wind's blowing and $100 bills, $1,000 bills are flying out. Everybody, people are grabbing. This is fantastic. Look at that. You be very careful who you're giving that to. Now it's your energy. Who are you giving it to? Are you being careful about it? Are you accounting for it? Are you in your mind documenting who you gave that energy to? Is that really what we're talking about here in terms of what you got and what you give?
That is a big part of it. Yeah, because and people kind of just, they don't even consider their energy worth that much. Some people will just like wake up and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm energized." And then they'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm just so tired." And I just need to like rest, but like sometimes people will push themselves past that exhaustion and then they end up burning out. And they're not thinking about where they're just disputing all that energy throughout the day. Like, it can be as simple as, staying an extra hour or two at work. Like, is that really in your best interest that day? Do you have the energy to expand there? Or Or should you say, hey, you know what, I'm a little bit too tired. Maybe tomorrow I'll stay late at work to like finish up this or this, or I'll wake up earlier and come in a little earlier to get those tasks done. It's all about the balance of how you disperse your energy and where it's used. And a lot of people just kind of take it for granted and overlook at how important that is, and like it's kind of like the law of being, it says you are valuable because you exist, right? Just like a diamond's worth. It isn't determined by who's looking at it. The diamond is just rare and precious and valuable no matter where it's placed or who is holding it. And that's what a lot of people, they gotta think of their energy as that diamond. And you'd be amazed at how your life changes.
I'm so right there with you. And yeah, where's my accounting on this? Well, it was last night during that 1+ hour phone call with somebody because they like to talk and hear themselves. And I'm closer to them, so I allow that. Uh,
I think we can all relate.
then it was the night before, same situation, different person. Uh, I'm happy to hear people out, but at the same time, going to be honest here. What was I thinking? This is not what Steve planned to do tonight. Steve planned to have a quiet night to reflect and haven't spent a lot of time with me. So yeah, I feel like that's lacking. But what did I do? I opened up my energy bank account and
Yeah.
handed it to others. And I
Yeah.
kind of feel it. And again, happy to hear people out, love having conversations, but 20 minutes could get it done as opposed to over an hour. Um, and if you're good with it, there's nothing wrong with that. But we don't have a finite amount of energy, and I gave that away. I free energy, everybody. My energy. Here you go. It's one for you. Like remember Oprah with the cars? What you get
Oh
one?
yeah.
You get one. You get one. I think we need to be mindful, myself included, as to where the energy is going, or some say, who's stealing your power? It's
Yeah.
kind of the same. Energy is power. So who's taking it from you? Ultimately, we allow it, but I think we need to be account. You look at your statement on your phone for your bank account. What about looking at it in terms of what you're given, right?
Yeah, it's, that brings back the term to awareness, but what you're talking about specifically is kind of boundaries, the
Mm.
gatekeepers of your energy, is another way to look at it, boundaries aren't a fortress, they're a loving filter. So, when you know who you are, you realize every yes to someone else is also a yes or a no to your soul, which is what you were just describing.
Thank you
And
for
like,
saying that, but that actually hurt a little bit, but as it should. It should
yeah,
sting a little bit.
and like as you were saying, it's an energy budget. If you wouldn't overdraw your bank account for someone, then why would you overdraw your energy or spirit? Because it really is valuable. It's what makes you
Um,
tick, and it's what moves the momentum and your during your day and even your goals and what you're going to achieve. So if you have a little bit of a leak, like, think of like an inner tube at the pool and you just have that slow leak coming out, what happens eventually, completely flattens.
2 words, spot on. And I'm guilty, and it's my own thing. I didn't put a value on that time and energy that I gave away. Nothing wrong with it, but quite honestly, um, I felt kind of depleted after the phone calls. Like, and now it's like, oh, now it's like 11 something. Where did my time go? I got to go to bed now. Yay,
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
I would have been love listening to music late at night. That's my thing lately. Listening to lyrics. I know we're both like musically driven, but all of it that didn't happen. That didn't happen because I gave it away. So we need to be mindful of that, but put a value on it.
Exactly, and just, that's where balance comes in. It's not a bad thing to, give your energy and share your energy and have good
Yep.
energy shared back and all that stuff. But that's also the importance of high vibrations because it depends on what kind of energy is coming towards you. Is it higher vibe and is it feeding into you and giving
Mm.
you fuel? Or is it lower vibrational and it starts to drain you? And you have to, there's a very fine line, and it's hard to regulate that balance between the two because you do want to help people around you. You do want to put every ounce of yourself into all your hard work and your career and family and, I don't know, hobbies and passions and all that type of stuff. But you got to realize you only have so much energy in one day. So it's very important to figure out how you're going to evenly disperse it. And then there's sometimes where life throws something in where it's unexpected and an emergency comes up and you don't really you kind of have to throw your energy that direction. So there are those moments as well. And that's why it's important to kind of save your energy so when something like that does happen, you aren't completely burnt out or exhausted.
I'm seeing this, and again, we're guilty of doing it.
Oh,
We
yeah.
we ultimately have the control, and then there are among us the people pleasers. So it's like you're on the phone with somebody who's like, all right, I'm hearing them out. I just say, I want them to perceive the value in me. I'm here for them. Now a half
Yeah.
hour's gone away. Now an hour has gone away. Now I got a text from somebody yesterday, 12 something last night. Not even kidding. They were on the phone with somebody for 5 hours.
Oh my God. Wow.
Not kidding. And if it's supportive, then that's great. That's great. I'll look at that like, and I was texting them too. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? I saw them earlier in the day,
Yeah.
and they sent me a screenshot of the timer on the phone and was over 5 hours. If it was worth it, fabulous and fantastic. I'm like, I'm looking at these things like, some of these things could be taken care of in 20 minutes. And I know we're just sending our phone calls here, but
Yeah.
just time you're giving we don't put value on that. We're giving to others. How about other things that we don't put value on within ourselves? Any other thoughts that you can share?
Well, I mean, another thing is like we were kind of talking about like growing, where we are and like just, we can't necessarily choose what happens in our day. Things get thrown at us. So a good way I like to kind of play with this is like because some people will be like, well, I had to put my energy here or I had to put my energy there. You know what I mean? So how would I disperse it? And so I always kind of compare it to like a great oak tree. It doesn't beg for sunlight, it just grows where it's planted, knowing it's designed for greatness. And you just got to realize you're designed for greatness. And eventually, everything will just flow, and everything you need is already there. So you just need to like slow it down a little bit and just like feel it, and you have everything you need. You don't really need too much from the outside. It's there.
Hmm. You know, when we talk about the value, many of us in our occupations, even side hustles, don't put a higher enough value on what we do.
Hmm.
And there's so many different reasons for that. Some may feel that don't want to scare people away. Let's say, you perform a service, maybe it's your main
Yeah.
job, it's a side hustle, whatever. So we're afraid to price it at a certain point because you don't want to scare people away.
Yep.
But then if you go too low, others will look at you as like, well, they can't be that good if it's that cheap. Meanwhile, you could be amazing. There's so many different reasons for that, right? Where we have these beliefs, maybe we don't deserve it. Maybe we don't deserve abundance and all of that. Should we talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much to me, that comes down to, when you value your own energy, you end up teaching the world how to value. And that's exactly the concepts that you were just discussing. Like, once you actually know what you're worth and what you can give the world, then it's easier to come up with, say, that price point. You're more confident behind it. You're not so like, I'm not sure. Maybe I should go lower or maybe this is too high. You won't have as many questions around that because you know what you're worth. So
It's hard to, many of us accept that because we've been through so much that, and a
Yeah.
lot of that we don't even realize. Where even even on the money thing, it's a relationship with money that we have
Oh,
from
yeah.
our childhood. Maybe that got derailed from your parents saying, "Money doesn't grow on trees. Be careful what you're spending." All right, got to be careful with money, and then that inherently dictates what you charge for things and what your value and all of that. And then we undercut ourselves many times because of the mindset.
Yeah, and that's just things that come from being almost like conditioned from your circumstances and situations. So it's, kind of trying to, like, as we've talked on many episodes, is rewiring your thinking, especially about what money is. Like for me, money is energy, but for a lot of people, money is the food on their table or the roof over their head or
Mhm.
or the clothes that they're wearing, or the money to, support their family. And yes, it helps in all those areas. But for me, it's energy. It's, if you are lacking, you put a little bit more in the areas you lack and it comes back, you know? So
Mhm.
it's one of those like kind of hard, like, what do you mean? Energy, money is energy, but but it
Let's
truly
let's
is.
work on that. Let's go there. Um, and yes, we equate it to the new car and all of those
Yeah.
things, but let's look at it as energy. And this came clearer for me when somebody did something for me. I think it was a Reiki session. I'm trying to remember. It was. Now it's coming back to me. And I said, well, what do I owe you? And they said, and we were doing like favors for each other. And they said, no, you don't owe me anything except you need to Venmo me $1. I'm like, $1? Normally you charge like, like, 70
Yeah.
times that. What are you talking about? No, just send me $1 because there needs to be an exchange of energy. So I did something for you. Now you're doing something for me
Yeah.
with an energetic, just $1. So of course I Venmoed. Um, Tell me your thoughts on that exchange. Money is energy. Give me more.
Give you more. Yeah. So think about it as electricity. All right. It's invisible until you plug it in your like toaster or you flip like a switch, and suddenly, bam, there's toast, lights, coffee, and so much more. And even at this time, holiday lights. In much the same way, money is just a current. It flows according to where intention and attention and value are directed. It
Mm.
isn't a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's neutral, and it simply amplifies the intention behind its use. And so many people have like a negative viewpoint of money because of being, struggling or not having enough as grow up, and all that stuff. But you got to think of it kind of, if you go back to this, science, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It simply moves and transforms. And that goes along with what you were saying with your Reiki, uh, I guess, is it instructor or
Yeah,
healer?
just
Healer?
did a
Yeah.
session. Yeah.
Yeah, session, where, it's like that give and take, or, where you give out and then you receive. That is, like the laws of the universe, it's that balance. So if you're, giving, then, you then like receive, or if you're receiving, then you just give a little. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like this huge amount of currency. It can be simply $1, but just that exchange is, going along with the universal principles and laws, which, kind of bring you into like that balance. And that's the whole key when it comes to transformation, is finding that balance in the grounding.
Mm. Do you think do you feel it's impactful to look at money as energy now instead of us looking at, well, if I had more, I could buy that. Because, and hear me out on this for just a moment. And
Okay.
I'm just hypothetically throwing this out here. It just came to me. I'm far from the smartest person in the room, by the way. That if we think of it as, well, I have this amount of money, I'm getting that car, or I'm going to buy that, or I'm going to buy that over there. You're technically limiting yourself because you have a certain amount of money and that bought that car. Now, if we don't look at it as limiting, where I can only get this because this is what I have, if you look at it as energy, it's almost endless. Would
Yeah.
that help foster maybe a different mindset where maybe more abundance may come your way?
Yeah, that's going to attract more abundance. Because money, it circulates. It's exchanged, and it follows the channels where there is renaissance. That is, there's value, gratitude, and clear intention. So when you're thinking of it more as endless supply of energy, instead of putting that restriction on, then
Mm,
you're not, like you said, then that idea or feel of lack no longer exists.
right.
And so there's, all that room for you're making that room. It's kind of like, where you have to like clean out your room to like, or like, let certain people go to have, to attract new things and all that. It's the same concept. It
Yep.
works with, and especially that's energy, you're releasing old energy to bring in new energy. And that same concept works with money. It also works with just you yourself and what you're, giving and what you're, taking and all of it.
Mm.
But, the common thing is when you release something, you make room for something new. So it's the same thing. So if a lot of people, like I know I've had friends that are always so fixated on, like I want, the nicest new car ever. I don't really like the car that I have now. They're like, it's not me. But like, but do you appreciate, are you grateful for the fact that you have a car? Some people don't have a car, and it gets you to work, it gets you home. And without those things, you wouldn't have like the energy to bring in, cash flow and all that, all that type
Hmm.
of stuff. So a lot of those things are forgotten because everyone's looking at shiny objects, is what I call them, like newer, bigger, greater. And when your brain just goes there, or your mind just goes into that luxury state and not it without gratitude, it's more just like a status or like a quo kind of
Another
thing.
thing. Let me have another
Yeah.
thing. And I,
It's
I
just like,
totally
yeah.
relate. I totally relate to this because I have a 25-year-old Jeep. I joke around. I don't know if I shared this with you that
Oh.
I say it's in hospice because it's hanging in there and it's broken down, about a year ago, a few times. I'm, pulling off a exit on a freeway and then a belt snaps. I'm like, you piece of mother. And I got mad at it. I'm like, really? So I got it fixed. And ever since then, every time I drive it, and in the summertime, I just take it to go kayaking or pick up, a 2x4 or something like that. It's just
Yeah.
a junky vehicle. It's rusting away. It's like, but I love it because it makes me feel like, I and don't have to worry about it. Like when I was younger, just, cruising around, park it, don't lock it. I started taking care of it and saying, thank you for today. We had a good
Yeah.
run. Thank you for taking me to the beach. That was a lot of fun. You know what? You're looking good and you're running great. I have not had an issue with it since then. And I even have toyed with, you know what? The thing, I'm not even kidding. It's probably worth 500 bucks. I'm not even joking. And I say to myself, you know what? Get something else. You deserve it. Get another vehicle, get another SUV, use just so you can, beat on it and just use it for the same. I haven't yet because I don't feel I need to. It's like, why? Why are you doing that? This thing is running okay. It supports you,
Yeah.
and I have gratitude for it. At some point when it goes, if and when there's a when coming, where the engine
There,
drops out or it's,
there is
flies
that
up.
point always.
There's going to be that point, just like
Yeah.
humans, we break down and, then
Yeah.
that's the end. Um, but I don't feel I'm not like there was a moment there where I was like, all right, let me go on Facebook Marketplace. Let me ask friends, hey, your friend selling care anymore because I
Yeah.
have gratitude for this vehicle. It's the weirdest thing, and I'm fine with it. I don't
Yeah.
have to have a flashy car. I have another vehicle. It's all good, and it's a newer one, and I like it. I love it actually, but I love my Jeep. So
Yeah.
that's the my point here is everything is energy. What are you putting the energy into? I put positive energy into the damn thing, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like, even like, you could be like on a job site. I know I was helping one of my friends who's a mobile detailer, and like the water pressure in the hose wasn't working. Without the pressure, it kind of makes it hard to really clean a car. And, he was just freaking out, like, oh my God, this is the worst day, like putting all this energy out. And the whole time I'm just like, like, please let the water pressure work. I'm trying to put out like the positive thing, like, let's make it so this customer, is really happy, because it was like a mom that had like three kids. So the car was a disaster, and it was like her one special thing that, like to have that nice clean car and all that stuff. So I kept putting out all this positive energy, and all of a sudden the water pressure just started working, even after he fiddled with this and fiddled with that and nothing else was working. So, it's like it really is where you direct your energy on, how things can happen. There are miracles. They do exist.
It's energy. And
Yeah.
it goes back to your energy and how much are you giving away? There it
Yeah.
is. All part of the transformation. Once you start figuring this out, more comes your way. It's just I didn't make that rule up. It's the universe did.
Yeah, it's universal.
But as you've opened my eyes to this, and even I'm going to be honest, you did. I'm telling you, I'm not doing our phone calls that, there was some things gained from that, but it could have been 23 minutes. It didn't have to be
Yeah.
over an hour. And I took away from myself, so I didn't put value on it. I didn't put value on it. How do we connect with you to help people realize these things?
Thanks. You can make a strategy session appointment on my website. That's the easiest way, at www.donnadaytlc.com, and those are always complimentary. And then you could contact me on my cell phone with either text or call at 201-719-6991, or you could even email me at donnadaytlc@gmail.com.
And I'm going to ask anybody, if you have a question, comment about anything we talk about, or if not anything, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com. Thank you for today. Eye opener, I believe, for many of us that struggle with these certain things. I appreciate it, and look forward next time we talk.
Same here. You have a wonderful day. Thanks for having me.
You too. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.